Good. Moving forward, the next therapy I want to point out to you is called energy therapy. We have a vital life energy which flows through our body and is around our body, which can even be measured, which can even be photographed. The energy around you can be photographed. And the goal of energy therapy is to unblock, if the flow of energy is blocked, to unblock it and to restore energy balance. And that's a beautiful work. Not very often practiced, unfortunately, but it's one of the possible therapies which you should be at least aware of. Stepping right next into something a bit more similar, alternative. A lot of people see it, don't want to see it. It's homeopathy. I don't know whether you ever worked with it, but by treating the body using high diluted substances, which are natural substances with frequencies, by minute doses of the disease you're trying to fight, will help the body to heal. That's the theory behind it and how people apply it. And very interesting, but not very popular. I must say so. Not very popular. A lot of people who have done it and people who apply it swear by it. All right. Similar, a bit on the esoteric side, is the next therapy, which is called sound therapy. In sound therapy, you use instrument to create sound, to create music. The music played in a therapeutic way, combined with deep self-reflection techniques to improve health and well-being. The deep self-reflection technique goes hand in hand with the sound. And again, there are people specialized who have a decent education, know what they're doing, and practicing this. In many cases, you don't find these in typical doctor praxis. There are alternative medicine men who have a more or less bigger or smaller practice where they offer this therapeutic treatment. And these are people as well very often who do aroma treatment and other things which we call alternative. Something more common, meanwhile I must say, is the therapeutic treatment of reflexology. The reflexology is a massage treatment to relieve tension and treat illness. We all have reflex points in our body, especially on the feet and hands and head. And these points are linked to every part of the body. And this comes pretty much out of the Chinese Oriental medicine. Here are typical images, and you see which point of your hand refers to which organ or functions. And again, I have done this, and I saw immediate results. Very fast results. Yes. The next field is neuropathy, also called polyneuropathy. Poly from the Greek word all, many. It means many nerves. It's a collective term for diseases and peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system includes all nerves in the body except for the ones nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. And here is an example how this is applied, activating the trigeminal nerve. The brother and sister of all this is a technology and a treatment called polyneuropathy. And the polyneuropathy is something which a lot of people are not familiar with, and is connected to something is called CRT. And CRT stands for cranial release technique. The task of cranial release technique is to maintain the functionality of the skeleton and to restore if needed. The skeleton is so enormous, important for our being and for our health, people don't know. It's a pity that people don't know. They ignore it. They completely ignore it. And if this is not in shape, you see here in the center, if everything is balanced, the body, the muscles, the strength, everything is balanced. On the left side, you see a left brain dominant situation and the right muscles tensions and the structural imbalance. On the right side, the opposite. So if these things are not aligned, you can never be healthy. And sometimes with my kids, grandkids, when we go somewhere, when we sit somewhere, people passing by, I'll point out to them to look for that. I want them to recognize when they see other people in what shape they are, and knowing that these have consequences. So I want to sharpen their eyes and their awareness, and to be aware that it's right and important to sleep correct at nighttime, in the right position, to sit in the right chair, to not save money for a cheap office chair for $29 and sit there for hours on end, for years on end. That doesn't work. That shouldn't work like this. And this cranial release technique is very unique. And I heard that even in some countries when the babies are born, they immediately look for that to see what this all is all about, how that works, and how these things can be adjusted from babyhood on. Not many people know that our skull has the impressive amount of 22 bones. And cranial release technique, among others, is responsible to make sure that all these 22 bones are aligned. And for fun and giggles, here's the original baby doll, where all these different bones have different colors. And an experienced doctor knows about this and can test again whether these are in place. And here again, kinesiology helps a doctor a lot to determine the problem and to find where there is a problem. Which leads us to the last big part of techniques and treatments, the Chinese traditional medicine, or what we call the Oriental medicine. It has been used for thousands of years to prevent, diagnose, and treat diseases. What a lot of people don't know, it's never been done for the people. it was only for the emperor. I will do a separate small webinar only about the basics of Chinese medicine. In Chinese medicine is based that you have qi. The qi is their name for the flow of energy along the meridians in your body. In your body, there are meridians. I call them highway of energy. 12 main meridians, 8 side meridians. Along the meridians, you have about 400 acupuncture points. And the Chinese medicine is based on the fact that if any energy on these meridians is blocked or reduced, the consequence is illness. And this illness can be treated by opening up this flow of energy. The qi, as they say, the energy qi is freely floating again. That's what the plan is. To restore harmony between yin and yang, to unblock the blocks of energy or where they are reduced. And the traditional medicine includes acupuncture, diet, physical exercise, massage. Acupuncture, again, I did many sessions of acupuncture in my life. Many. Interesting technology. I mean, just mind-blowing. And what a lot of people don't know, that in your ear are dozens and dozens of acupuncture points. Another show I did about tattoos, where I talk about piercing, that piercing is a very questionable thing to do to your body. That in the ears are so many acupuncture points. When you pierce your ears with dozens of earrings, you most likely hit them. Okay, and that is not very healthy. All right, my friends, these were the therapies I wanted to introduce to you or remind you of them, to reinforce again the idea one should look into that. And a lot of alternatives are out there. These are the basics, big alternatives. And there are people out there like myself who have developed alternatives in medicine which are not covered in the above listing. And some years ago, by accident, I was involved in something and I videotaped it. And I want to play this videotape for you now, where I explain what happened. Hi, good day to you. For the following video, I have to give you a quick explanation, otherwise you may not understand what's going on. I was giving a workshop, and at the end of a workshop, a woman I never met before rolled up her pants, showed me her leg, and said to me, "Can you help me?" And I was completely, I was shocked when I saw the leg. And I said, well, the only chance I have is I'll take our Karma water, which is an energy water for the skin and for the body. Okay. And I had somebody spray it on her leg, and I was holding the camera. And here is you going to see now what happened. And I must tell you, I was completely surprised myself what happened, what changed in 10 seconds. I never witnessed an improvement, a visual improvement on the human body in 10 seconds. Here is the story. Okay, now. Okay, applied in abundance. Okay, and you start rubbing now.
All right. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
It's amazing. Amazing.
You see that difference in color in a split second?
Yeah.
For how long do you have that?
Well, on my legs for 6 months.
Wow.
Wow.
And that's one application in 10 seconds?
Wow. How long will that last, do you think?
I don't know.
And they told you there's no cure for it, though?
Yeah, I've tried cortisone, you name it. Been to, a number of specialists. So.
Okay, show this again. Don't run. Look at that.
Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
Wow.
Wow.
Amazing.
Right, it was really amazing. You can find that video on my website. Here's the link. If you want to watch this video again, go on my website. Here is the link. All right. Now, you should select your doctor according to these criteria. Is the doctor willing and able to find the real cause of the problems I have? Is the doctor really willing to work with you and for more than 2 or 5 minutes? I hope you'll find it's 3 or 2% of the doctors I pointed out, which is the end of the good doctor, which brings us to the not so good doctor. In many cases, when you come to practice, you have to fill out a form where they ask you the illnesses of your father, mother, and perhaps siblings to find out which illnesses exist in your family. Why are they asking this? Well, because when they are unsuccessful with their treatment, they pull this dirty trick out of their magic hat and they simply say, oh, I can't help you. You apparently have a genetic problem. I'm sorry, I can do nothing for your genetic problems. It's a cheap, stupid way out. What a load of crap. To my humble opinion, and I stand for this, and I say this to every doctor in the face, and I did, I will keep doing this. You cannot inherit a disease from your parents. This is utterly nonsense. You cannot. According to my philosophy and observations, you can, 1, bring any sort of illness from your previous life into this lifetime. What you as a spiritual being bring into your new life. For some of you, that kind of bogus and hard to believe in. What the hell is he talking about? That's okay. I don't blame you. That's okay. It's all the questions whether you believe or whether you know past life and future lives or not. I do. I've seen it. I've experienced it. So that's the first reason for me. Somebody can become sick in our society nowadays from a past life situation. Secondly, a physical and or mental emotional conditioning from the parents, often through physical and mental abuse, which then manifests into a physical illness. Many people can be conditioned, which then often turns into physical illness. The key word, psychosomatic illness. Psychosomatic illness. And as I often say, in many cases, the parents are unfortunately the worst friend you can have. Because they're doing this to you, willingly or unwillingly. Not the point. Number 3 reason, illness from chronic stress, which has mental or physical cause. Illness from physical stress or mental stress can cause physical illness. So these are, from my opinion, the 3 possible causes. And once I figured out this dirty trick from the doctor about the family illnesses, I always stated then, I played with them a game when the question came up. I said, I am a foundling, an orphan, and I've never met my parents, and I don't know anything about them. So I can't answer the questions, were any illnesses in my family? That's the end of the announcement. And that's all they could deal with or not. I didn't care. I just wanted to get out of there. So, inheriting from your parents, nonsense. Illness, you cannot inherit. Your parents can condition you, mentally or physically, but you don't inherit anything. In my view, no one is born as a child molester or murderer, but they're made to be one. We are conditioned, we are mistreated, and then certain things happen thereafter. Now, another subject is when a doctor measures your blood pressure, and instead of having 120 to 80, which is standard, it's 160 to 120. What do you know now? What do you know in this moment he tells you that? What does he know? Basically, you really don't nothing at all on which you can base a treatment plan. A single measurement does not necessarily determine a state of health. That's just fact. You need at least 3 measurements to determine a trend, a condition. Take comparable measurements. So, for example, before bed, each morning, after getting up, before each meal, after each meal, etc. It doesn't matter, as long as they are the same patterns. So, now, when the doctor says 160 to 120, it's not very good, but what does it mean? Well, it means only something if I do at least 2 more tests. At least 2 more tests which show the trend. So in this case, for example, the 160 went down to 140, went down to 130. 130 is normal, it's okay, nothing to worry about. All right, so I see now a trend, and the trend tells me from these 3 days, I'm okay. I keep watching out and to see whether it bounces back to bad or whether it stays down there. On the other hand, he gave me the 160. Well, the next day, it could be different. It could be then 210. And then the third day, it could be 250. And now you see this is a trend. The trend tells you where is your blood pressure, what condition is it? And this is a dangerous trend in health. And you got to follow it through. But from the first number, 160 means in itself nothing. It can go down and it's all fine, or it can stay or get even further up. Okay? Good. Now you have these parameters, and they're comparable now. Everyone should once, twice a year do a full blood analysis, a full blood count. There are 2 problems with a blood count. The first thing is that not every, believe it or not every laboratory is serious, is reliable. I know doctors who tell me, I don't go to lab A, never. I tried a few times, they screwed up. I'm going to lab B. So they checked it out. So not every lab is good and is reliable. That's the first problem. The second difficulty is to read the results correctly. Just to read the numbers is not enough. To connect the dot between 2 or more indicators for truthful picture, to come to the right conclusion, and then consequently take the right action. You cannot just quote a number, because a lot of these values are intertwined with each other. On the other hand, if there is such a thing like the worst doctor in the world, if it really exists, if one could say she is the worst doctor in the world, I can guarantee you still that doctor has patients who swear by them. I call it the McDonald's effect. Once McDonald's is your standard of good food, that's it. Once this doctor is your standard of a doctor, that's it. Funny enough, my own mother had her own way to judge good doctors. She had her criteria. I don't have to wait long in the practice. I walk in, the receptionist knows what I want and already has my prescription in her hand when I enter the practice. And then I have what I need and I get out of there again. So that was her definition of a good doctor. And that counts for many people. One must as well say for the doctor that a lot of patients just look for quick solutions. They look for quick solutions. They don't look to get down to the bottom of it. They don't want to change their lifestyle. And a lot of doctors, especially when I talk to dentists, which is very expensive, we all know, a lot of health insurance companies don't cover it. The people say, I don't have money to do that treatment. I understand, it's $5,000. But next week, they buy a new car. The other car would have been still good for another year or two. Or they go on a cruise ship. Ask doctors, ask dentists. They tell you this all the time. And then you have this doctor, when you have something on the lungs, you go into practice, and you have something on the lung, and he asks you to sit down. He puts you on a bench so you can dangle your feet, your legs, and the doctor beats with a rubber mallet your kneecaps, right? With a rubber mallet. What do you do when that happens? Well, I'll tell you what you should do, to my opinion. Pick up your Adidas shoes, put them on, and run away as fast as you can. You have humped into a ridiculous, stupid doctor. My opinion. Okay? Whatever it is, the patient leaves the practice normally with a prescription in hand, always. Take these pills 3 times a day and come back in 2 weeks. That's the standard sentence. How does the doctor know that you should take 3 pills a day? Well, the frank answer is he does not know. He reads the package. So how does the pharmaceutical industry know how many you should take a day? They don't know either, they speculate. So a 300-pound guy should take 3 pills a day, same as a 100-pound girl? A joke. And the correct dosage amount constantly changes as the body changes every day. So you would have to adjust the drug every day, every 2 days, whatever. So far, in my life, I've only found 2 methods to determine whether you need this drug and whether the drug has a positive effect for you or not. And how many do you need per day? The first method is kinesiology again. No question, muscle testing. I can test every person in split seconds. Do you need this product or not? How many you need? All the time. In my show I did on my website about kinesiology, you can see how I do that. The second technology is the BISA Institute in Austria. The BISA Institute in Austria, you can find on my website their certificates in their technology, and you find kinesiology. So the average patient, within a short amount of time relatively, has met with 3, 5, 10 or more different of these quality doctors in a few years with no real lasting success. In many cases, the patient takes 5, 10, 20 medications, as we said. I saw it. The patients are totally disappointed and often feel misunderstood. Our doctors even often don't believe them that they have a problem, or when they speak about the symptoms, they question what the patient tells them. Of course, most doctors have too little time to really dive into it. A lot of these doctors, they just don't get it. Have you ever heard about a doctor say, I have no idea what I should do now? Jesus, you give me a problem. And you know what? I have no idea what I should do now. I never heard that. Never, ever. Best is he sends you to a specialist to get you off his place, and which means nothing else that he indirectly admits he does not know. But he would never say so. If someone would run a car shop or a restaurant under these standards of quality, people would just have burned down the shop long time ago. With doctors, however, they're all cuddle. Why? The idea of authority in white is deeply rooted. Nobody wobbles the victory column on which most doctors rest. And the doctors say, oh, we work with people. Then you never know what will happen. Doctors argue in this or in a similar way when their work fails. Exactly. You work with people, not with diseases. When will you finally understand this? Holistic methods are needed. Illness can only be cured by involving the person who has to heal him or herself. And you, my dear doctor, and all medicine, remedies, machines, tricks in the world can only help the self-healing of the patient. Your job is to help the self-healing of the patient. That is your job. You are not a mystery man who puts his hand over his head and say you are healed. I doubt it. Here's an example of how we treat in our society illness and how ridiculous it can become.
These days, it's easy to say, I'm fine. Everyone does it. But for me, it's harder. I struggle to keep up this brave face and hide my depression symptoms, even on an antidepressant. Is it just me?
No, many people taking antidepressants still experience symptoms. When added to an antidepressant, is proven to reduce depression symptoms 62% more than the antidepressant alone. So you can stay on your current treatment and help build on your progress.
Can cause serious side effects. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Antidepressants may increase suicidal thoughts and worsen depression in those under 25. Call your doctor if you have fever, stiff muscles, and confusion, which may signal a life-threatening condition, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. Increased cholesterol, weight gain, high blood sugar, decreased white blood cells, compulsive behaviors, dizziness, seizures, trouble swallowing may occur.
Now when I say I'm good, I mean it.
Feel better about facing the world. Talk to your doctor about adding. Pay as little as $15 for your refills.
Wow. So you take an antidepressive medicine, which has side effects, and then they say, take this extra antidepressive medicine that it really works your antidepressive. And this again, of course, has side effects. Let me read them out to you again to digest what you just heard.